We have the entire thing in one component, and the entire point of this exercise is to get practice breaking things up into multiple components. So where do you see opportunities for components? Sometimes you just like look at a page and you just like break it up into rectangles. You know, what seems like something that could have its own internal data, or that just seems like it would be handy to manage it separately from the rest of the page? How can we break this up? Yeah. Yeah, the whole header section, right? Everything from here on up. That could totally be a component. What else? Catherine. The clickbait at the bottom? Yep. Just one component? Yeah, how about that? How about we make one component that contains it all, one component to rule them all? Yes. And then what if we just had a single component that represents one piece of clickbait, and then we use map to put out 4 of them? Oh, so what's actually different from one? What's actually different from one link to the next? The image and the headline, right? So if you had the image and the headline in an array and just mapped over them, yeah, we could totally do that. No, did you have something else?
Yeah, I was going to say the ad on the side. The last one.
Yeah, our hammer ad here, totally.
Smash Master. But the clickbaits, they actually take you somewhere, right?
Well, no, they're fake.
So great.
They're supposed to be links, but they don't actually go anywhere.
Oh. So what about the external, like for example, comments or share posts? I assume share posts would take you somewhere.
None of these actually do anything. This is just a layout.
Theoretically.
This is just a design. Theoretically, that's supposed to like pop up a thing for you to tweet it or add it to Reddit or whatever.
No, I mean like they would be their own
Components?
components. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you could totally make these things their own components. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. The article itself. Yeah, totally. What about like the user links up here? Even though they're inside the header, we could break it up even further, right? Sure. There's all kinds of components we can make here. So let's start with the header. I think we can all agree all this stuff from here up could totally be a separate component. So let's do it. So let's just start by making a new component. So in our source directory, we'll make a new file. And I'm going to call it header. And I'm going to start that with a capital H. As much as I hate capital letters in file names, in the case of React components, that's very conventional to do. So header with a capital H .js. Then we will create a React component in here. So we need to import React from React, or excuse me, from the string React. So you see some of these imports have paths in front of them and some of them don't. Like this, that's just React, React DOM, but then this is a path, ./app, ./index.css. So these two are our files that are actually in our source directory. These two are coming from NPM packages, node modules, out of the node modules folder. So when you're importing your dependencies like that, you just put the name of the package. And when it's your own file, you need to actually put the path to that file. So import React from the string React. Then we'll make a class. I'll name it header. And it needs to inherit. So we could say extends react.component. Or if we actually import component separately, which we could do by adding a named import here, then we can just say component instead of React component. So 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other, but you'll see this a lot. If you're making a class component, you typically just go ahead and import component separately. So this line doesn't end up being so long. And then every class component needs a render method. So let's just do that before we forget. That'll need to return some JSX to put a return statement, and I'll put some parentheses there. If you're going to have a multi-line JSX thing there, it needs to be wrapped in parentheses. And something I will forget to do if I don't do it right away, export default header. That way I can import it. So by exporting it here, that means that back in app.js, I can say import header from the file header. So something that's worth pointing out you have to have a path. So // dot means the current directory, right? So that means header is in the same file as app. And also, if it's a JavaScript file, you don't need to say .js. You just say header, and it assumes JS. Right, so we're importing it because we exported it, but there's nothing in here, so we're going to get errors. So let's put some JSX in here. Looks to me like everything from here to here. Everything from div class name expanded row header down to right before main. So just this entire div. I'll just cut it right out of there, put it inside header.js inside our return statement. No, because we only copied one div. That already has a div around it. So we're good. So right now, the header's just gone. But I already imported it here. So all I have to do is stick it in here as a tag. Just like that. Just an empty header tag. Since I imported it, I can do this. So when we're creating a component, we're kind of creating a custom tag. And there it is. So now we just need to do that a bunch more times.
Should the cool header be there?
If you made this and saved it, and you imported it here and put the tag back on the page, then yeah. Okay, we'll look at it in a sec. So I'm going to say extract header component. So we can just do that over and over. So we have a more reasonable, in the end, app should be very, very simple. It should just be basically a bunch of custom components.